Action activate. Is that it?
I'm saying that price for bread is just ridiculous. I'll not pay that price for bread. Well, anyway, hi, I'm Gazbot. This is Action Activate, and if I'm here, then you know this guy's here too.
It is the big dog doing an outdoor summer review like we did last year, throwing it back. Thought it'd be worth doing.
Yeah, you got that nice board background. Yeah, look at that.
It's not Zoom. I can actually. Here's me.
Can you knock on it? Oh, good. Yep. Luck is ours. Luck is ours. Well, listen, we're here today to talk about Dino Fury episode 9. Now, for those that don't know, we have a misleading, semi-misleading, an exaggerated clickbaity title that's like Netflix does Dino Fury, Netflix done wrong, meltdown, all this stuff. That is because I messed up, and I watched episode 10, he watched episode 9, and like 5 minutes into it, we're like, we can't review this. So this is the actual review of episode 9 that we have now both watched, and we are going to talk about. Good.
Yes. So now that we're both on the same page, I didn't skip the intro. I feel like because we're only watching so many episodes right now, I like watching it, kind of getting me primed up for it. Is similar feelings for you?
Yeah. I mean, I've only watched 2 episodes, but I haven't skipped the intros on either one for sure.
Yep.
It's weird. Sorry?
Go for it.
It's weird because I'm trying to decide if this is like counts of being here after a hiatus, because I guess it does. See, here's the thing, because like these episodes showed up on Netflix, which wasn't. I was trying to step on the title screen, which isn't like how we imagine it being. It's not coming back to Nick, but still, episode 8 was the end, like the cliffhanger before a hiatus. So this is meant to be the episode we come back to after a hiatus.
Yep.
And having watched 10 first, without getting into 10, I said this on the one we did by mistake. I was like, oh, this was a good one to come back onto. Like this was a good episode, and a lot of stuff's happening. I feel the exact opposite with this one. I feel like, we come back from a hiatus, and it's just, it's like filler. It's the definition of filler. You know, it's just.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than 10 now that I've watched both.
Okay. Well, it's hard because we're not supposed to be talking about 10, but just know that I disagree with that. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't share your opinion, I guess is what I should say.
I had problems with both. This one kind of treating it on its own. My initial thoughts when I first watched it, I thought certain things that were going to bother me didn't bother me as much, which I think is why I liked it more. Whereas in comparison, not going too deep into 10, some things happen with 10 where they kind of fell from where I thought they were going to go. So I think I had higher expectations for 10, which is why I liked this one a little bit better.
That kind of makes sense, I guess. Like I had no expectation going in, and I had no expectation going in with this one either. I really wasn't like, let me compare it to 10, because I wasn't thinking 10 was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. But I'm judging this one more harshly because of where it falls, because it comes in after a hiatus. If it was just a random episode in the middle, I wouldn't judge it as harshly. That being said, I didn't hate it. It wasn't a terrible episode. It just felt very mediocre, very average, very filler. Nothing super great, nothing super terrible. But that I'll still point out things I liked, didn't like. But
outside of one plot point, these should have been switched.
They're going camping. And my first thought here was when Ollie pulls out his little walking pole technology thing, was like, oh no, here comes some weird super technology that shouldn't exist that they don't explain. Now, That being said, the pole itself was fine, and he did a few other little things. This is the scene right here. He does a few other little things, and they're all kind of within the realm of possibility. They're all, maybe a little bit above where we are, or maybe it's something he had to build himself, but I wasn't like, this is impossible for the most part. It was definitely skirting the edge there, though, of like, oh, we going to Ninja Steel stuff. Never quite got there.
Yeah.
And then it blindsided me with the hammock joke.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what the hammock joke was, just because
the hammock joke, because the whole thing with Ollie is everything is technology. Even though they're going camping, he's like, I got batteries in my shoes, and I got everything's technology, including his hammock, which rocks itself with like a remote control, and so you set how you want to rock. And so immediately, I'm thinking, here he's talking about his gadgets. I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a thing where he gets in and like it goes crazy.
Yeah,
which I was kind of right. Except Zato says, oh, I'll try that. I'll be a good sport. And then he gets in, and then he's like, let me make it go a little faster. And it goes and spins in some way that makes no sense. And then it cartoonishly flies off. And then they're like, oh, boy, your technology's not so great, buddy. I did not like that. I did not.
Yeah. I was expecting that for all of it. And the fact that it was only for one thing made it where it didn't bother me as much.
And I could see that, and that's how I got blindsided. Because, again, even with that fan right there, that's a little bit unbelievable, but I could stretch that far. You know what I mean? So I kept thinking they were going to have the thing where he's like, also, I could shoot lasers at him, like something that completely ridiculous. So then they did the hammock. I didn't see the joke, the joke being that bad. Like, I kind of saw the joke coming, but I didn't think it would quite go as ridiculous as it did. And it's also one of those things where if it malfunctioned and dumps him out or something, but it's like, even visually, you could see that like the actor's kind of holding it closed, and it's like the motors would not be strong enough to take a 200-pound guy and spin. Like it's not a malfunction that can happen. You know what I mean? And then it flings him off like a cartoon. And so, see right here, this is believable. Oh, it's going a little too fast, but then it's like he's clearly holding it shut so he can't get out, and then it does this thing right here. Okay, the rope snaps. That's believable. And then that what? And it's still there goes Team Rocket blasting off again. No, thank you.
He landed small enough. Like I said with you, I didn't love the joke. I'm so used to ones that are so much worse that this one was.
You're right. I'm trying to not judge. I'm trying to not give a pass based on other things that were worse. You know what I mean? I was just reacting like when I saw it coming. I wrote down my notes. I wrote hammock. Oh no. Zato. No. Groan. Like, because it's just like you treated this episode too much as a post hiatus episode, and I think I did that too much on 10. Yeah, probably. But again, it's still not a joke I would really like, And you're right. We have seen much worse jokes, and for the last couple seasons, it's one of the sort of mediocre jokes. But that's indicative of a larger problem, I think, to be honest. It didn't ruin the episode or whatever, but
it's one of those things where we've said it so many times where it's like, just cut that out. Give us a longer morph. We don't need it.
Or anything. More character development would be fine too.
So we have the villains in the woods. They're building some weather balloon contraption with the monster that looks like a very birdified Gigan.
Okay, I forgot you said that. What's funny is you said that in our aborted bad episode that we did. I thought it looked like a powered up Tenga, actually. And not just, it's a bird monster, but specifically, let me see if the way the wings are coming off this way reminded me of Tenga a lot. Yeah. And it's got more pieces and it's like built a little different, but I could see this being like the super Tenga or the command. Like if I had a bunch of Tengas, this would be like the officer or something. You know what I mean?
Gigan.
Sure. It has some Gigan to it, but I don't know. Gigan's more 80s punk rock in my mind.
Yeah. But I like that instead of some of the villains being out, we have all of them out where we don't see that too often. Like, I don't know in any other season where the main bad guy, like the main villain, we've seen them out and about doing their plans. It's always go do your thing and
that's true. You're absolutely right. And I realize that subconsciously I keep thinking of Void Knight as like the second in command or the lieutenant, because that's what he feels like. and maybe there will be a bigger bad later on. I don't know because I haven't watched Ryu Soldier. But even if that's true, right now he still is the leader, and you're right. And I haven't really thought about that too much because again, I don't think of him as the main villain, even though you're right, he is. Everybody here had some little one-liner jokes. This fight in the woods I liked actually a lot. It was a decent, good fight, but what I liked was that it was in the woods, which you don't see a lot. I thought that was kind of cool.
I agree.
And everybody had some like one-liners. They were all fine. None of them were amazing, but they weren't terrible. They were, they weren't groan worthy. They were just sort of very Spider-Man-y kind of. I was reminded when they called the henchmen and there's that big lineup. I really like the henchmen. Their design is really fun, and they actually seem threatening. Unlike a lot of them, like thinking about what was it, the loogies from Samurai, I think, where they just literally just look like guys in like yellow spandex, like with paint on it, like some are more interesting than others, some more threatening than others. I like the henchmen. They look like soldiers that would be foot soldiers. They look like what they're supposed to be, which it doesn't always have to literally be that. But the point is, I like them, and I want a lightning collection of one.
I agree. I think they look good. What was the other thing that I took note of? There were a couple lines in this episode, joke-wise, that I liked, but it was all verbal humor. It wasn't physical comedy.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. And even the verbal jokes that didn't land was like, okay, well, not every joke lands, even in real life. So that's fine. It didn't bother me.
One thing we talked over plot-wise, so this weather balloon thing launched, and it essentially was just a big old EMP.
Right. And that's what's happening right now. They're realizing that the communicators don't work, their teleportation doesn't work. And because of that, they know that Void Knight is going to be running around scooping up all the sporks he can because they're out of there.
Yep. I thought as a episode device, I thought this was cool. I thought this was a good plan from the villains where it's not like super MacGuffin-y. It's like we kind of hodgepodge this thing together, and how are we going to get more Sporix? We're going to cut off communication where people can't always tell the Rangers where we're going to be.
It is legitimately a decent plan. Now this is, I will say, in all fairness, this is where the episode got me. I didn't see it coming. So he's pulling apart his shoe and getting the batteries out and stuff. And he's like, guys, with all this technology, I think I could build something to get the balloon. And they're like, oh, you and your technology, we're going to hike back, and it really makes it seem like you're like, I thought the lesson of the day was going to be, you're too reliant on technology. You're looking for the easy way out. We've got to rough it and learn, and spoilers, that's not the lesson at all.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Which I think another reason why I liked this episode before and after.
That raises it up from where it would have been for me, but it still doesn't bring it very high. Also because I very much. Oh, also I had a note. Zato has very nice eyes. I noticed them in this they're like light. I don't know if they're blue or it almost looks like he has contacts in or something. I don't think he does. I think the actor just has light eyes. But I guess out in the sunlight, I'm like, look at those dreamy eyeballs he's got.
Whenever I see Zato in human clothes, I always think they're dressing him like he's getting ready for first grade, but he's a full-grown adult because he doesn't in human fashion. Because it's you got the jacket, which one's yours with the Z, and you got this very egregious hat that kind of matches with it, but you still look like you're waiting for the bus.
I agree with you, and that makes perfect sense with the character because he would just. It is probably the other humans go here, wear this. Okay,
and he's yup, this is the cool thing. But I agree here where I definitely thought I was going to be more annoyed with Ollie this episode, and I'm really glad I wasn't.
Same. I do want to point out, though, that scene we just saw where he's like, we should stay and do this. They're like, no. And then he's like, well, this is the only shoes I brought. And then Zato's like, so you can't come. And he's like, sorry, I'll stay here. That makes no sense. If he has shoes, that the whole point of the shoe is that they charge the battery, you can't take the battery out without destroying your shoes. And let's say nothing bad was happening. He takes off his shoes to get the battery, and now he can't walk around the forest the rest of the time they're camping. That's just lazy writing. That is, I'm sorry. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That's lazy writing.
Yeah, I think there was a better way to get him to stay in the woods, and saying he has no shoes was not the way.
Right. And I think what they wanted to avoid was having him go, no, I'm right, and make it some kind of more of a conflict. But maybe they couldn't find him because he was doing something or he could have even said, oh, it's going to take me an hour to put the shoe back together, which is stupid and shouldn't, but at least something. I don't know. But the fact that these shoes, once you take them apart, that's it. That's dumb. That's dumb.
The time that was meant for that proper explanation was used on the hammock.
You're right. You're absolutely right. We do get a nice. I was a little bit worried because we hadn't seen Jayborg and Jane, and I know you were like, "Oh, where are they?" But luckily, right after this, we cut to them to see what they're doing, and it has nothing to do with the A plot whatsoever, or even the B plot. It's just their characters in the show that they want to show.
I do like the beat right there where Pink is the last one to be like sorry and like wants to stay but doesn't, just kind of building that.
I agree
between them.
I do agree. That's a cool shot there. The drone shot or whatever. Okay, so here's Jayborg. Now, I will say, like the hammock joke, it is not that bad. Like, honestly, their scene bothers me less than the hammock joke.
Agreed.
Now that I think about it. No, the more I think about it, does this seem? I'm trying to think if this bothers me at all. I think I expected it to, but it doesn't.
I think there's a joke here that I actually liked and laughed at, but I don't remember what it was.
The joke was say what your wish is, and she's like, "What your wish is?" And like that old, it's like an old fashioned joke.
No, there was something really clever, and I don't remember if it's this scene or something else. But maybe it was a payphone. I don't know.
They find a payphone and try to use another way to call, and then they're like, "Oh, it doesn't work," which I thought was kind of funny because when I saw the payphone, I'm like, "What? Where are you finding a payphone?" But ironically, I went kayaking this weekend.
Yeah.
And there was a payphone. I don't know if it worked because I was afraid to touch it because it looked gross. But there was a reason. I assume it works because there was no cell service like once you got to that place. So I'm like, oh, I guess this actually makes sense. Even though everyone has a phone in their pocket, they don't work. But it was just so weird because like that was the first time in years I'd seen a payphone. And then it showed up on the show. And I was about to be mad. I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe there's no cell service there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Move it.
The more I think about it, this scene with the two of them was maybe one of their best scenes ever.
Yep. That's the thing. We toe this weird line with them with the comedic relief characters where I'm like, I hate that I sigh every time they come on, and then we have to be like, they weren't bad today. Like, they just built this inherent thing to make us like not like them sometimes.
Yeah. But let's just focus on the fact that it was fine this time.
Yes, it was. The Rangers are hiking and they are lost 1,000%.
They are lost, which I'm fine with. And again, story-wise, I understand why they walk in a circle and end up back at camp because they have to get back with Ollie to make the story work. But it's just a trope that we've seen a million times. Like, we walked in a circle. Now, I am no kind of navigation expert, but I go hiking fairly often. I've gone camping a couple times. If there's trails, it's hard to get lost. But B, if you do lose your way or get, whatever, which has happened to me before, you don't go in a circle accidentally. Not a perfect circle like that either. Like it just never happens. It's
I imagined. Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought you were gone, but you're okay.
Oh, I imagined it was a thing where like they had a trail, they made a left, they made a right, and all this stuff, and then they ended up back where they came. Is how I saw it. Instead of a
It is possible. I'm not saying like that's impossible, but it was just like it's a trope. I'm blaming Power Rangers for the sins of all sitcoms and shows that do this because it's a trope that everybody does, and it's probably not fair that I'm annoyed by it with them. But it's just every time I see it, it's like, yes, this is technically possible, but the shows make it seem like it happens all the time, and it never really happens.
Kind of like how you were sympathetic about the phone thing. I'm sympathetic about people getting lost like that.
No, but I've gotten lost. It's the way they're getting lost. Have you gotten lost where you walked in a circle and ended up back at camp?
Not in a circle, but I've ended up where I started on accident before.
Well, all right. You should be living. I guess you live in a sitcom then.
I do.
Right here, there was a joke. Let me back it up. They were using the little mini chainsaw on the wood, and Javi says, Izzy says, "Hey, this will be good for when next time Dad cooks." I like that because their dad is a ranger. This is the joke?
I think it was. What did he say?
He's like, his cooking's not that bad, or his turkey's not that tough, or something like that.
Maybe it was that. I don't remember.
Well, the joke was whatever. It was, again, a very common joke you hear, but I liked that they were dunking on the Ranger who we don't like. So it's like, yeah, good. He's also a bad cook on top of everything else. Sure, why not?
But he tries his hardest.
Yes.
But I like here how they're building like a giant crossbow, and they're finally like teaming up together.
Yes, and clear, and it is interesting because the lesson is. I didn't notice that before. That was cool. He took the piece of the tent and the rest of it kind of fell down. I didn't actually notice that before. That was a nice detail. the lesson isn't technology is better than camping or roughing it is more important. It's that teamwork is better than going it alone, because neither of them succeeded. Although Ali was closer to succeeding. It is a little weird though. Like, this is where I said, like, I like that I didn't see where it was going, and I like that it kind of caught me by surprise. But thinking about it again, the target audience is supposed to be kids. We've all seen that kid or been that kid or been in that situation where it's like, we got to do X. And like the clear, hard to do thing is the way to do it. But they're like, well, I got an idea. We're going to get a bunch of rubber bands and make phone calls and dirt. And like, I feel like this is kind of rewarding that sort of like, let's not do the right thing and walk 3 miles back. Let's fire a flare that we made out of a crossbow that I know how to do because I read a D&D book once. Like, it's just that kind of like, it shouldn't really work, you know? And so, again, I like that it subverted my expectations. But I do wonder if it's reinforcing kids to be like, yeah, we'll just make stuff up. And like, I'm sure we could figure out how to glide off the side of this mountain somehow with a kite or whatever dumb plan they have.
I was fine with this. One thing I just noticed when you had that screenshot up is visually, I like that they had the binoculars as kind of like how he was aiming. Practically, I think that would have been dumb and he would have missed more.
But I didn't notice it either way. And when you said that, it made me think, oh, that's cool that because they did just make a point of showing all the things he brought with him and then incorporate all of them, like the fans and his coat and stuff. So yeah, it works fine. The binoculars, you're right. It probably maybe doesn't, but it does look cool. I like the angle too, the extreme down angle. And at some point here, Ollie's like talking to the arrow, like, "Oh, come on, she's a good arrow. Come on, baby," or whatever he's saying. And Javi's like, "Have you noticed that he's like talking to the arrow?" And what's her name? Pink Ranger's like, "I think that's cute." And it's like, okay, well, you know, we've been getting little subtle hints, and there's a big old clunker of it. A clunker. It's not subtle. Put it that way.
I do like the fans as a propeller. That was my favorite part of like you said, the dumb thing that shouldn't be here that like is part of the solution.
Yes. I will say though, I'm glad it worked and everything, but watch this. That is the most explosive balloon I've ever seen. I understand there's a technological device underneath it, but I mean, what was it filled with? Not helium. Hydrogen maybe?
I was going to say, if you look at, was it the Lindenberg that blew up like that?
I know. No, the Lindenberg was like the baby that went, the Hindenburg. Yeah. Yes. But I think it was filled with, I forget what it was, but it wasn't helium. It was some other like hydrogen or something.
Like super flammable.
And I guess I was going to say like nobody uses that like that way because it's dangerous, but they're evil monsters. So sure. Okay. I take it back. I will actually, no, I will say the exact, I'll give you Ninja Steel. Absolutely. I will say the same thing, but I'll say it differently. Originally, I was like, that is one explosive balloon. Now I'll go, wow, that is one explosive balloon. The villains must have used that combustible gas that was in the...
I could see it off screen of like, how'd you learn how to build this? Oh, I found this book, and it's literally like that. I'm like, how to build a hot air balloon in 1849 or whatever.
But it does succeed. They destroy it, and they can immediately communicate with Zolan, and then they teleport. And I wrote com plus TP equals fight time. So here we go. This is the joke. This is the joke. I bet you this is the joke that made you laugh.
What was the joke?
Okay, because I wrote it down as a joke I liked. They get there, and Zato goes, "Oh, why did the chicken cross the road?" And then Rooster, what's his name? Rukenstein says, Rooster Rufasa says, "Duh, to get to the other side. Everybody knows that." And he goes, "Is that how it goes?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, "I thought Earth jokes are supposed to be funny." And I'm like, well, it's, I think
it was, yeah.
Because I thought that was funny that they like just were like, yeah, that's not even like a joke. We don't like that joke. But yeah. And we're going to gloss over how Rustafa knew the punchline to an Earth joke. Once again, all of these monsters have full up-to-date pop culture references.
When they come in, they have full sentience, a la Castiel learning about pop culture, supernatural reference for you fans.
Yes, but Castiel had to learn it. You just contradicted yourself.
No, now they just do it. When they make a monster, they're like, by the way, you need to be relatable.
Right, but you just compared the monster that comes in fully formed with all this knowledge to Castiel, a character in Supernatural, for those that don't know, who came down to Earth and didn't have that knowledge and over time had to learn it. So that is a terrible comparison.
Castiel walked so Rustafa could run.
I'm taking away your Ninja Steel point. I think you're back to 0. You're
No, I
you're back
still
to
have one. I had something else I said that was smart earlier.
Yeah, I think you'll have to prove that to me.
So we get a team morph,
Yes.
which I like.
Yes.
I'm always a fan. Yeah, the best music in the show is that 10 seconds that we get to see them morph.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Aha.
Hasbro, what are you
Again,
doing?
the henchman. Very cool henchman.
We have none of these toys to buy. This is on Netflix as we speak, and we can buy 3 toys.
I just saw Hasbro announce that they are going to have the Megazord, I think. But it's like, like how, like towards the end of season 1? Like what? It doesn't, I don't get it. And again, if Hasbro, we're getting off a tangent, but it's supposed to be a toy commercial, right?
This Friday, they're coming out with stuff. Maybe we'll see Dino Fury things.
It's supposed to be a toy commercial. Sell toys. That's all I'm saying. And if it's not, then make it for adults. Pick one.
You're doing it right with Transformers. Rant over.
Yeah. Now, this fight, I don't like as much as the previous one. There's nothing wrong with the choreography or anything. It's just another city fight, so it's a little bit less exciting, but it's fine. But what I don't like is keys.
MacGuffin.
Yeah, boost keys galore. And it's like, oh, it's a boost key. It's a flash key. It's a zip, zap, zap key. It does this. What does it do? I don't know. This one's whipped for a minute. I don't know. Here's a flash. Who knows? Whatever. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. Who cares?
You know what we haven't said in forever?
What?
Powers have no meaning on a planet under the cape of keys.
Yeah, it's pointless. It's unearned and it's confusing because it's not even like, oh, this episode we're learning all about this new key. They just throw them in, and half the time it's like, what did he say? And they use it for like one attack and it's gone. And like,
there's a simple explanation for that.
And some of it, like this one on the blue, that's kind of cool looking. It's like, what is that one? I think that was a whip, maybe. I don't know. Are we gonna get a figure of that? Is it gonna show up later? Like,
no.
Yeah, I feel like other seasons would have an episode dedicated to each power, or at least an episode or two dedicated to like, here's what we have and how we use them, and how they work. And like, it was just like, hey, we have these, and it's definitely a part of this show that I don't like. And I don't know if Ryusoulger did it better or not.
I think they did.
Because I get it. Like the idea is, oh, buy all the keys. I don't have a problem with that. Dino Chargers had a bunch of Dino Chargers. I have a wall full of Gokaiger / Super Megaforce keys. Like, again, it's a toy commercial. I get it. I want to buy the toys, but you got to make me care about what it is. And these keys, I have no desire to collect any of them. It's like, what are they? Who cares? I don't know.
It's funny that Beast Morphers did a better job with their keys than the season with keys is doing.
Yeah, it's true. I did like that effect on Rustafa. That was his name, Rustafa, like Mufasa, Rustafa. I don't know. I liked that they split up, which they haven't done in a while, which makes me think it's like earlier Sentai footage because you have the sort of classic basic Megazord, and then the other two are fighting Void Knight.
Yeah,
this part of the fight was that?
I was gonna say they get the Zords together to fight Tenga Gaigan.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say Tenga Gaigan.
I know you did. I was letting you have your moment.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of these Zords, man. They're so cool.
I mean, I have the figure. I'm curious to see what Hasbro does. I don't plan on getting the Hasbro one unless they do something amazing, because the one I have is great.
Somebody on Twitter, you can get the either 5 Zord combo or that Zord combo for like $40 on Amazon Japan right now, and they'll ship to the US.
That's pretty awesome. I got mine. I got the 5 Zord for less than that, but whatever. I get the deals. That's what I'm saying. I get those deals. This fight is good. It's short, but I love the angles. I like a lot about this fight. Look when he goes up into the sun. I don't know if it's this shot or not. He goes up into the sun once or twice to take his shot. Isn't it? And it reminds me of something. And I here it is. I couldn't figure out what it reminded me of. And I think maybe it reminds me of Die Rangers / the Thunder Megazord era.
A little bit. There's also,
yeah.
I think Ninja Storm did it.
Maybe. Okay. But it definitely
like shrunk and went like hyper mode.
Okay. Yeah. They might have used it several times. I know, because it is also, I was saying it's Die Ranger for sure. I'm just like, I don't know if there was more. It might just be something they've recycled a few times, but it was kind of neat. It kind of just felt connected to the rest of the universe and the things we've seen. Also, I didn't say this at the time, but as much as I don't like the cockpit and I rail against its genericness and whatever, they have been doing, like, they all did a kick, the Megazord did a kick, they all did a slash, makes it infinitely better. Still not my preferred type of cockpit, but if you're gonna do that, have the things match up, and they're doing that. So kudos, you're doing it right. I'll credit where credit is due.
Every time they do the finisher and he pulls out that golden sword that we still can't buy, I get a sigh of relief that it's no longer that Nerf gun that no one wanted.
Oh my god! Yeah. And this is we're recording this June 29th for anyone watching it later, and that's why we keep saying the things are not available still. They go to Fortress mode.
Not available to you in the future.
Yeah, true. They go to Fortress mode, which I can't remember if they've done before.
They haven't. It's really cool.
It reminds me of Titanus.
It reminds me of the battle tank in Mighty Morphin.
You mean when the whole Megazord would just become a tank?
Yeah.
It makes more sense story-wise because the same Zord's doing it. But you know how they had that Titanus that came out later for In Space or something that didn't have like the head? That's what this kind of reminds me of more, to be honest.
A little bit, maybe.
Oh, look, another power-up. And here's this power-up too. Oh yeah, I hated this. He does some kind of flash one, and it makes a flash. So it's like, okay. And then she does the muscle one, which I thought was going to give her a big power arm or do something like she gets super strong. And then it does cartoon bonker. Now, that's Sentai footage, so we can't blame it, but it looked dumb.
I don't like cartoon bonker.
Maybe this is the joke he likes, because I also like this joke a lot. He's like, "You've defeated me." And they're like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Just kidding," and just teleports away. And I'm like, that was funny, and a good strategy. Because he doesn't need to fight them. He wants to get away with the Sporix. What is he doing there? It makes perfect sense.
He didn't drop the Sporix of like, oh no, the Sporix, and then they all like chase, and it's like, ha ha ha, I got him. Oh, you fooled me.
If they really beat him, that's what would have happened. Because he would have been so disoriented and everything. But because he was faking,
he swung against the wall and he held on to the bag.
Well, it's Void Knight, man. It's not like it was mucus or something. Come on.
That's true. It's mucus time.
And then they go to full, what do they call this? Warrior mode, I guess, when it's all 5 of them. And I still don't understand, though, why when they do this, okay, you see all the Zords that build it up. Okay, I get that. And then they do the swing, and they've shown this before. And I mean, it's not like terrible or anything, but it just again, a thing I feel like needs explanation. When they swing the sword, they show like the 5 other versions or 4 other versions pop up. Did I miss something? Why are they doing that?
I'm assuming in the Sentai it has more meaning.
Maybe that's right. 4. So there's 4. So like those are the other configurations, I guess. Which I don't know. It doesn't.
My assumption is in the Sentai they had to unlock those versions to then combine into this.
Is that? Do you know that, or you think that?
No, this is me guessing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure people have watched Sentai could say like, don't spoil this for us. But if he is right, let us know. But it did just, I don't know. Again, it's nothing that ruins the show or whatever. But it's just one of those weird things. Like they're showing us imagery which is meaningless. Make it have meaning. Just give us a line or something. I don't know. And then they win. And then now here Mucus loses the Sporix exactly the way you're saying, where she's like, "Oh, derp, I could have got it, but she didn't drop it, but still, like she could have hurried and got it." But I love that she disappears, and then Void Knight's like, "That's fine. I got like 3 over here, so that's we still come up ahead." And I think that's awesome. Now, and I love their base. I've said it before, and yeah, just all the villain stuff is done so well this season.
Yeah, I like how he replenished a bunch of Sporix. I didn't like for a little bit as they were making new monsters how he's like, we got to put a Sporix in all of them. Like, aren't you trying to get more Sporix? That doesn't make sense to me.
I agree, but I think we're going to see that again in the future because they're going to have to, right? I mean,
yeah. I think
Boom Tower is why, because the Sporix themselves can grow like we saw this time.
Yes.
But yeah. Now here's let me pause. Okay, we're doing the end cap. They go camping, but let me pause it for a second. No, you know what? Let's finish. Then I'll ask you my question because I realize it's about episode 10. So okay, we're end capping it with camping, and of course now they're all on board with this technology. But they're like, well, "Where's our sleeping bags?" And he's like, "Guys, I got you covered. Have some super coats like I got." Also, Ollie has a lot of money apparently because one of these jackets I could believe that it's like his hobby and he puts time and effort.
I think he MacGyvered this, and it's one of those things like, hey, how'd you make these jackets so fast? Like, I've had them for years. I just needed friends.
I guess you're a little harsh on them, but if you had them for years, they wouldn't be this technologically up to date.
But if you look too, they're all duplicates of his.
Yes, but what I'm saying is I can accept that he has made one. Spending time and effort and like putting it together with a little bit of money he has, putting the technology and putting blood, sweat, and tears. Why would he have built 5 and because he didn't like presuming he just made them because he knew they were going on a camping trip. He couldn't have just whipped them up. He would have had to buy them or pay for somebody to put them together, and they have to be like super expensive. And he doesn't have a great job. I mean, they established this earlier. I
take it as a la Peter Parker in the MCU. He's very crafty. He uses stuff he finds. Each one he gave them or previous iterations, and his is the new latest and greatest.
Oh, okay. So this is just like theirs are not going to work as well.
Theirs are good, not great, which also lends credence to what happens next.
Well, I was going to say this is the moment that a second ago was the moment where we crossed the line from me trying to accept like the hammock thing was dumb. But I didn't focus on the super technology. I focused on it's a bad joke. This is where they cross the line to technology that can't exist, where he presses a button and poof, he's in the sleeping bag. A sleeping bag could be put in there somehow, but not the way it appeared to him. And I was like, I guess they crossed the line. And I was like, well, I guess that was going to be it. And I thought he'd fall down the hill or something. But then she presses it, and this crosses the line even more. Because, yes, you could have an inflatable device pop out, but it doesn't – how – like I've seen these things, like they exist in our world. Like they're like these balls you can play around in and stuff, but how could it come out and be on top of her? But also there's a sleeping bag. It's just like, nope, doesn't exist. It can't happen that way. And then she falls down the hill. It's also weird because she like kind of clearly walks to the hill and throws herself down the hill. But this joke is fine when she falls down the hill. It's a kind of the opposite where the joke is okay and plausible, but the technology isn't.
Yeah, but I didn't make as much sense.
Yes,
and I like
what?
I like how it popped.
Yes, me too. And I also like her Ben and Betty moment where she's like, "That was awesome. Let's do it again." And then they're like, "All right, let's all do it." I like that moment where I like that. So overall, what would you give this letter grade?
I'm really torn between C+ and B-.
You like it better than I do.
Yes, I definitely think it was better than it should have been, considering what it was. I treated it as a standalone, not a return from hiatus, and I thought it was fine. Wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it had a lot of stuff I really enjoyed.
I feel like looking at it as a standalone, still think it's a very mediocre, average sort of episode. It's filler in that it doesn't like really advance the plot too much. I mean, yes, Voidnet got some Sporix, but like, that happens all the time. It's not like we learned something new or whatever. I think I give it a C, not saying it's like the big comeback from hiatus. If I consider the comeback from hiatus, it's a C- because it's like, what, this was it? What? And the reason I give it a C, because there are episodes we've watched that I've ranted about more, like, oh, that was so dumb or whatever. But then there were equally cool parts, or it advanced the plot. And so it was like sort of uneven, but like, and this has the distinction of kind of being unremarkable. Like when I think back on this season in the future, I will not remember this episode. And if we never watched this episode, it wouldn't matter. And that's proof because when I watched episode 10, the only thing that mattered was that Rustafa was mentioned. And I literally was like, oh, did I forget him? I don't know, who cares? Like, so clearly I didn't need to watch this episode to understand episode 10.
I liked this significantly more than 10, which is another reason why it's higher in my book.
Well, stay tuned for our review of episode 10, where we're going to be disagreeing again. Because, yeah, I don't understand why. Because I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to get into that next time. Stay tuned for episode 10 next week or whatever, because that's crazy. So we've been going almost 40 minutes. Do you want to do a little just chat about news and things going on right now before we wrap it up?
Sure. We're not doing 10 today, right?
Correct. And I'm leaving this in.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure. So one thing that was part of Power Morphicon that got expanded today was the Super 7 Ultimates. Shout out to the Foosh and Robo.
That's good to say.
Line. Wave 1 has been put out for solicitation. They have product images and all that. And as Gazbot is looking to put it on screen, we found out about Goldar at PMC. He looks great. First impressions, what are yours?
I think he looks awesome. I think he's $55. If he was a little bit cheaper, I would definitely get him. And I know he won't go on sale like other figures will. Like Super 7, it's like a pre-order. It's not like getting it from Target or Hasbro or something where you might have a chance to get them cheaper. If the line bombs and somebody hates it, you might find a loose one cheaper, but generally it'll be retail or higher. So my problem is I kind of want him, but I don't want to buy him right now. I kind of want to wait and see, but I know that I can't. And this scale, they are larger. But with Goldar, that kind of makes sense. And the paint looks nice and shiny and tight and crisp. And it comes with all these extra pieces, which honestly I don't care about. I mean, yeah, I'll pick the hands I like. It's got the, I think that's when he took the power coins from the Rangers, right? Yeah. Is that what that box is? Yeah. And then so he's got these in case you want him where he doesn't have the wings. What's that?
I was saying the little like putty coins for the evil Rangers. I think that's what those 5 are up top.
That's what these ones are. Okay, yeah. And then he's got the growling head. So it's nice that those extra things come there. But honestly, I just think he's like a really sharp looking figure. But here's the thing. The Lightning Collection Goldar is one of my favorite Lightning Collection figures. So it's like, it might be an upgrade, but it's not like, oh, this Goldar is terrible. That one's great. It's like the Goldar I have is great. Is this one greater?
Better,
and is it worth $55? And so it's the one I was most likely to get, but I probably won't get it. I don't know. How about you?
I feel very similarly. I like my Goldar. I don't have anything against it except for scale.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this has going for it. The accessories are.
I just realized they're all $55. I thought he was more because he was bigger, but I guess that's just the standard price.
Yeah. The other ones for me. So the thing about it is they're all great, but are they 3 times greater than the Lightning Collection?
Not quite 3 times, but yeah.
This I'm actually kind of tempted by.
This is the one I'm most tempted by. Like Goldar, I thought I was gonna like that's the one. But I've kind of decided I'm not getting Goldar. This one is very tempting for all because there isn't like another version of it. There was a couple versions that came out a few years ago that I didn't get. And so like, yeah, I don't have another version of this. I almost wish this was bigger though. That's my only thing. Like if it's 7 inches, like if I put it next to my other Zord, it's going to look shrimpy.
Are you sure though? How big is the other T-Rex Zord?
Actually, this is 8 inches tall. The other what T-Rex Zord are you talking about?
Like if you used your Chogokin T-Rex, how much bigger would it be versus this?
My Solo Chogokin Dino Megazord or Daisugen is always in Megazord form. So I don't remember how tall it is.
Well, no,
but
that's
the way in the show, this should be about as tall as the Megazord. Like the way the show can, which doesn't make sense, but that's how they do it. Dragon Caesar / Dragon Zord, they're all about the same height. And so I'm looking, it's definitely more than 8 inches. So if I put him next to my Dragon Zord or any Megazord or anything that he's supposed to be roughly the same size of, he is going to be the shortest thing in there. So that might be a killer for me. And again, it's something that I would wait and see, but because the way Super 7 operates, you kind of can't wait and see. So
what I would say is he would look great with the Super 7 Grimlock.
Which I'm also not sure I'm getting. The Ranger figures, these all look great. Here's what I'll say. If Lightning Collection didn't exist, I would be getting all of the figures.
Same.
Maybe the Zord, maybe not. But I have good versions of all of these characters already, and they're in a different scale. If they were the same scale, which I understand because of licensing, that's why they're not. I might pick and choose the way I do with like other series like Marvel and Star Wars, where I'll get the high-end collectibles for certain characters and they can fit. If you haven't started collecting these, this is a great collection to jump in on. But who doesn't have some Mighty Morphin figures by this point that they like?
The only thing is the question you got to ask yourself. First, you got to take price out of the equation because they're more expensive. Parts of it are better. Parts of it are worse, quote unquote. But
I like the evil Tommy head.
I love that too. I don't remember what that gun's from, but it's from a specific episode.
Yeah, I don't either.
And I don't know what that other sword is from.
It kind of looks like Goldar's sword. I don't know though. What I do like also that they did with the Ranger figures at least. I was like, oh, here's an extra set of arms that doesn't have the bands. I'm like, oh, I guess you could depower him. Then I realized no, because there's this shiny one. You put that on, you put these arms, and then it's got this crummy looking dragon dagger. Now you have the vintage figure version. Because like when they're Turtle licensed, they do the figure version. Yeah. And this is sort of like they're giving you the figure version and the TV version in one figure. And I think that's fantastic.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why these are good. And if I didn't have so many other figures and collections right now, I might jump on them, but I'm not gonna. Similarly, the putties. They're putties and Z putties in one.
So damn good, dude.
Yeah, it's got the two different faces. It's got the Z chest. It's like, so they definitely make them so they make them so you want to buy two of each, not even just the putties, but like the Rangers. And then this one, it has Aisha and Tweet Trang. What's her name? Trini. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then it has the little gnome guy from one episode. And I love that they have the morphers like in the open morph position. So yeah, they're great. They're great figures that I don't want to buy because of all the other great figures I already have.
Yeah, if you have a 7-inch collection, this is the perfect answer for you because they're not going to come out super often. They're going to scale with other stuff, have finite enough where you're either going to buy all of them because that's what you do, or you're going to pick and choose because of XYZ reasons. So like,
also, I don't think they've made a definitive statement, but so far it's all Mighty Morphin. They might only have a Mighty Morphin license. They might be just starting with, but if you're only a Mighty Morphin fan, if like you're just old school, this might be the line because this might be the best line for Mighty Morphin. I and you have other lines we want to mix with, so it's like but if I only liked Mighty Morphin, then if I had just the Lightning collection Mighty Morphin, I'd probably sell them and get these. That would be what I would do. But because I want SPD and all the other ones in there, yeah.
There's an argument to be made if space and money is not your issue to have all of these in toy form.
I thought about that too, but space and money is an issue. So
no, I know. I'm just
and specifically talking about Super 7, which is a company I like. For me, and most of our viewers will not care about this, but I am one of the people that is very excited about this Silverhawks line. So space and money, you can see these figures are also $55 each, and I want all of these. And this one's actually even more. So whatever space and money I have is going to these.
Yeah, was it Dreadstar? Is that his name?
Monstar,
thank you. I like him as like a Ranger
villain. He could be a villain for anything. He's like, it's just a big old space. It looks like Kirby could have designed him.
Yeah, it's just
he could even be a Sentai villain or a Power Rangers villain, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. He just looks so damn good.
He would fit really good. The aesthetic of this matches the aesthetic of those Power Ranger figures. So this literally could be a villain of the week or a general or whatever. But we're getting further and further from Power Rangers. So let me get back out of here. Was there anything else Power Rangers newsy kind of stuff you wanted to mention before?
They restocked the Dragon Dagger, which told me that I didn't know it ever went out of stock.
Yep.
So that was kind of a thing. There's a bunch of pre-orders still for Ranger stuff. Apparently, the Tank Wave is starting to hit stores where I thought it did months ago, and I just missed it. But
Pink Wave? What's the Pink Wave? The Tango Wave. Yeah, I've seen people doing reviews and stuff. Those are ones that I have on order, I think, from Hasbro Pulse, which means I'll get them after everyone else. So whatever. There was news from Zenkaiser, the current Sentai.
Oh yeah, there is.
Which I think everyone. I haven't seen anyone not like this news. I'm seeing if I could pull up the.
This
visual.
Officially makes me want to watch it. Like this tipped me to the edge of if you and I have a way of watching it, I'm 1,000% down.
I don't think we do. I know that there used to be a lot of fan subs of this stuff that they've been cracking down, so it's actually gotten way harder to watch this as it's coming out. I think I found it. Okay, so let me share this.
Everything about this, I'm like, was I consulted and didn't know it?
Basically, there are better pictures out there. I'm grabbing. This is, I guess, from Ranger Chamber is sharing this magazine scan. It's essentially is it the Quantum Rex?
Q-Rex, yeah.
The Q-Rex and the Dragon Zord, but now they can combine. And it's pretty awesome. To the point where I'll even say this, like, warrior mode. I never liked the warrior mode from Mighty Morphin. Yeah. This one I like a lot more. It actually looks more like a warrior that can fight and stuff. And then the combo monster mode with like the big. I think it's universally being hailed as like awesome, and that there's probably better pictures out there. That's just the one I grabbed from Ranger Chamber on Twitter. So shout out to them.
So I haven't seen that image, but I saw the main Ranger who's like I think white, but I forget his name in the show. He has like a Dragon Caesar armor mode.
Okay. You talk to the people. I'll see if I can find something.
Yeah, so that's what sold me, because I think what it is, and this is literally me looking at like 4 pictures and being like, tell me what happens in that show. And it's like, okay. So I think what
I think I found it.
Yeah, he has like a Dragon Caesar mode. He teams up with
That
these.
looks crazy.
Oh my God, I want that so bad.
That looks amazing.
So the cosplay of that's just going to be insane. So, and then I think I did it. I've never seen that image, and now I'm extra excited.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil for you.
Not spoil in a bad way. I'm just they got me. We're here. I've been got.
There's a lot of good. I think this is the. I think this might be the morpher up here.
Oh my.
For that, but yeah, we're getting in the weeds. But it looks awesome. Whatever it is, whether I watch the show or not, that's a figure I want. Yes. The only thing that bums me out is I don't know if it's. I hope it comes as like a 2. I hope it comes as like this is the thing you get, not like got to track 2 down or combine it with the old vintage ones or something like. Yeah.
See, you have the good thing of worst. You're probably going to be willing.
You're breaking up. Nope.
Hear me?
Nope. You're stuck in the flax. What's going on? What a big mouth face. Okay, here he is. Now you're good.
Okay. You can hear me again? Okay.
Yeah, you're choppy, but
I don't know what happened with the internet.
Your signal's gotten really bad. Nope, there he goes again.
Can you hear me?
We might end this episode very badly. We may not get to hear what he's saying.
No, I'm here. I'm
gonna
here.
remove you and then put you back in. I'm gonna remove you and put you back in. All right.
All
right, go for it, big dog.
Can you hear me now?
Get your thought out as quick as you can.
Okay. You're going to get the Sofubi down the line, willing to spend $15, $20, and you'll have that representation on your shelf. And if you don't get anything else, at least you'll have that. And me, it'll be all or nothing on whatever the big thing is.
I kind of want the big thing. I mean,
I'm not saying you don't want the big thing, but if you can't get the big thing or you don't want to spend the money on it, you'll be like, I got the Sofubi with my Sofubi shelf.
But you won't get the Sofubi.
Probably not. I don't have Sofubis really. I think I have like 3 on accident.
You know what though? Looking at my shelf, the way it's set up, I won't be able to put it up there because they're flat. Like they're just the heroes flat against the wall. Because I have this problem. Let me see. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to move my camera. And some of these just fell down.
Sofubis though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are my Ranger Sofubis. It would not fit on that shelf because it's going to be a big monstery thing. I'm going to turn again. Over here, I have the smaller. Can you see it? Spark Dolls from Ultraman.
Yeah.
And it's the same setup. Now, the problem with that is I bought some Ultraman Kaiju, like Gamora and Shepardon. They won't fit on there. I don't know what to do with them. I've got like 4 just sitting over there randomly. I don't buy these anymore because they don't fit there. And I could see it being the same problem where they wouldn't fit with my Rangers. So,
but would you get the Rangers in those armored modes?
Maybe if they would fit on the shelf. I don't know. Maybe.
That's what
I'm more interested in the mech than the Rangers. If they had like, I'm not saying I'll never say never. It would have to be a situation where I can get it. I'm not going to go hunting for it, but if it came across my path for a decent price easily, then yeah, I'd probably get that. But again, hoping it would.
If it was cheaper, mini plot.
I would never get any mini plot ever. Just to be clear.
All right. Well, you heard it here first.
Oh, but I will say I had a very good mail day yesterday. 3 things came in the mail. King Sphinx that I bought for $9 off of Amazon, which I mentioned in our very social media. Dino Thunder Red, which I wasn't going to get, but he was, I think $9 on Amazon. Yeah. And this I got a while ago, but it just finally came, which was the Kira Major Megazord. The mini plot is what made me think of it. It does seem, the box does make it seem a little bit smaller than other Megazords, which is a bummer, but it looks cool. And I like this mode on the back, where you could just do the 3. Like this one isn't so great, but that one looks a lot more solid. Yeah.
That's what I'll be playing.
What's interesting though is I got this super cheap. It was $30 and I had credit. So it was free to me, but it was $30, which is just nuts. And part of it said that the box was damaged. The box is not damaged. It's sealed in perfect mint condition. So I don't care because I'm going to open it, but it is a weird thing where I guess somebody somewhere thought that was damaged, or maybe they sold the damaged one and I got the perfect one. I don't know. But yeah, yesterday was a big mail day for me. What?
It's like when you said you went to Japan and it was like, oh, this is used and blah, blah. You're like, this was touched before today?
Yep. Yeah. I have SH figure arts in my collection that you would not know I didn't buy brand new. And and it's like, oh, it's $15 because it's been opened. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
I don't
looking
think
forward to
I'll-
opening those.
Oh, last thing before we wrap.
Yes.
The episode that we were reviewed on, or the John Patrick show, check
Oh, good, yes.
the playlist. Yes, check the playlist to watch the episode of us. There's a full version. There's a couple clips, but that was a lot
I
of
just
fun.
put the
Thanks
full
again
version
to
in.
John.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks again to John for having us. And
A lot
if
of
you
fun.
want to see us from behind the curtain and in front of the curtain, to be honest,
It's
check
it's
that
not terribly different, except that we're not. Yeah, it's just him interviewing us and talking about how the show started and that kind of stuff. But it quickly devolves into us arguing about Power Rangers. What?
I said we're more reactionary, I guess. We're not the ones prompting the arguments. We're just rolling with them.
Yeah, no, but it was fun, and I think if you like the show, you'll like that. And we definitely talk about things that I don't think we've talked about on here. Not that they're secrets or anything, but just that don't come up. And yeah, the one I have on the playlist for the John Patrick show is the full episode, but there are also clips you could watch. But whatever. But yeah, that was awesome. Thank you for having us on that. I think we already talked about Power Morphicon and the panels we did for that, and theoretically with that
Turbo. If you didn't see any previous stuff,
and they're
that
on
we
our
did.
playlist, so you can find it there. And other than that, I think we'll probably be back next week with episode 10, Dino Fury. And until then, I have been Gazbot.
Big Dawg Defender.
Did you freeze?
Did you hear me say Big Dawg Defender? Are you trolling?
Yep, but you're not moving. It looks like you're like a really bad ventriloquist or something. Oh my goodness, there he goes. Okay, end credits. To the power. To the power.
To the power.
Yeah.
Badoo, 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 boop, boop, boop. Badoo.
Badoo? Badoo. Badoo.
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
You're a terrible person.